What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic. And when it comes to Epic Universe, this park has moved from potential in terms of what will its impact be, how will it be received, how will it affect Universal, how could it possibly affect Disney, and all the things that go along with that. But we're now starting to get some real data back in terms of what its impact is. We had another video yesterday talking about some of the mixed reviews about this park, you could say. But when you're talking about a brand new theme park, there are going to be challenges when it opens up. But we have yet another quarter of Orange County tax collections, as Epic Universe is now 3 months old. It's almost getting there. It's almost, it's going to start saying words pretty soon. And this can give us an idea in terms of what we could maybe see from the next earnings call when it comes to Comcast and Universal in terms of its ongoing impact here. So we have an article here from the Orlando Sentinel. It says, July tourist tax collections heat up, break record in Orange County. So this will be 3 straight months that Epic Universe has helped Orange County break yet another tax collection record. It says, tourist tax collections in Orange County soared like the temperature in July, hitting the highest total ever on record for the month. Receipts hit $29.5 million, an increase of 11.1%, or nearly $3 million better than July of 2024, said Comptroller Phil Diamond, whose office tracks collections and spending of revenues raised by the 6% levy on hotel rooms and other short-term lodgings in the county. Said, quote, summer performance continued to heat up, he said. Tourist tax revenues driven by the region's hotel room occupancy and the average daily room rate are generally viewed as an economic barometer of Central Florida tourism. Would make sense. The region's dominant industry, which has been on a steady incline the past 2 years. Diamond said collections continue to be, quote, epic, a tongue-in-cheek nod to Epic Universe, the region's newest theme park. Mark Woodbury, CEO of Universal Destinations and Experiences, said the park, which opened in May, is off to a, quote, pretty great start. Since Epic officially opened on May 22nd, the Tourist Development Tax, or TDT for short, has shattered collection records in 3 straight months, bringing in more than $93 million combined during May, June, and July, despite scorching temperatures in Central Florida. TDT reports lag a few weeks behind collections, and August figures will be released in early October. With tourist tax receipts tallied through July, a 10-month period that began October 1st, collections are $19.5 million, or 6.5% ahead of last year's record-setting pace, when the surcharge brought in a record $360 million. But the soaring totals aren't a complete surprise. A year ago, county commissioners conservatively estimated that TDT would raise $345 million from October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, the months of the fiscal year. But the board has twice revised the estimate upward to $360 million in January and then $375 million last month. But TDT's actual haul has outpaced even the upward adjustments, which figures out to be $31.25 million per month.
Hot dang!
Metro Orlando's hotel occupancy and room demand grew slightly stronger in July as compared to a year ago, said Cassandra Matej, president and CEO of Visit Orlando, the TDT-funded marketing agency that promotes Central Florida attractions to the world. They also said the average daily room rate was up to $180.87, up from $173.59 in July of last year. They also said that the July numbers did get a boost from the AAU Volleyball Championships, also staged at the Convention Center. Matej did say advanced hotel bookings in September are pacing about 10% behind last year, but October through December shows notable strength, with bookings about 5% ahead of the same period a year ago. So obviously we're looking at this. The county here has been very open, talking about how the uptick in the tax revenue is being basically credited to Epic Universe. They also mentioned the AAU tournament. But, the comptroller there, this is the 3rd month in a row they've had record revenue here, and pointing to Epic Universe, which gives you an idea of the park's impact. As we do know, 1 month of Epic being on the books, and kind of 1 month. The park opened May 22nd, but you did have the previews going on for Epic Universe. I'm sure that also led into that total a bit. But essentially, of Epic Universe being open, you had about a week and a half, and Universal reported almost a 20% increase in theme park revenue, much of that credited to Epic Universe. So if we're looking, May was a record-breaking month, June and July were record-breaking months, very likely August will be. So it seems like when we're talking about the next quarterly earnings report, when it comes to Universal and Comcast, we're very likely to see yet another uptick in the revenue. How high that could be, I don't know. I'm not even going to act like I would know, but I wouldn't be shocked to see 20% or something along those lines. As also, the thing that I think helps boost this is we don't have these numbers yet, of course, but looking at probably, 2024, I don't think you probably had a whole lot of people coming in for necessarily Universal itself, just given a lot of people that were going to go to Epic Universe or Universal Studios were going to wait for this new park to open. So I think some of those numbers were probably down this time last year, given that this park was so close to being open, or about a year or so away from being open. So when it comes to Epic Universe, of course, there was lots of hype and speculation, anticipation about what the impact of this park would be. And we're really starting to get some data back that is showing it as having a very significant impact, which is kind of remarkable at the same time, because we had a video yesterday again talking about some of the negative reviews about Epic Universe, which are to be expected in many ways, given it's a brand new park with all sorts of brand new attractions, a lot of high-tech attractions. So new parks are going to be a very iffy thing, I will just say, probably the first 6 months to the first year of operations when you're talking about a new park in terms of rides going down. And there's, of course, some questions and issues with wait times. Is there enough things for people to do in Epic Universe? Do these rides absorb enough crowds for them to really relieve some of these wait times here? And everything that Universal has been saying, Mark Woodbury himself has said multiple times that they're very happy with the impact. And Mark Woodbury himself even said during an investor conference that they have already seen a market share shift since Epic Universe has been open for just about 3 months now. So with that positive news, along with the, challenges that a new park is going to have, that has to be encouraging if you're Universal. And it also has to be encouraging as well, given, and I've talked about this many times, that Epic Universe in its current state is the weakest that it's ever going to be. A brand new park opening up is going to have its challenges. It's going to work through these issues, and they don't even have this park capacity where they want it to be. Currently, it's about 22,000-ish guests per day is the cap at this park. I'm sure they want that closer to 40 to 50,000 guests per day that they would like to have in this park. So you don't even have this park at its full, I guess you could just call it economic capacity in terms of how many people can come in. Obviously, those people would be coming in, would be buying tickets, would be spending money on food, merchandise. So you're already seeing these positive impacts from Epic Universe being open in a state in which this park is not even close to the potential economic machine it could be for Universal, and as well for the Orange County tax collections, which I'm sure the county is really looking forward to that when that happens. Now, none of this is surprising to me. Again, I had a lot of content talking about Epic Universe leading up to an opening, and I tried to be as balanced as I can talking about this. I admittedly love Epic Universe, but I do admit the faults that it does have that I do think they will work through. But, before it opened, you had people that were really excited about it. Some people were hyping it up probably too much in terms of what its impact would be. Some people were saying that it was going to be a Disney killer and put Disney out of business. Obviously, that is not going to happen. But then you also had people saying that Epic Universe was not going to have an impact. Nobody was really going to care about this park, and it essentially was just going to be a nothing in terms of the overall impact. And obviously, that is not the case either. So, as most things go in life, it's somewhere in the middle.
How dare you?
It's definitely having a positive impact in also a time period of this park that it is at its weakest right now. Like I talked about before, this park is only going to continue to improve in terms of the ride efficiency, how many people they can get into this park as they continue to improve the efficiency of this park. And plus, Mark Woodbury himself even said the number one priority of the company right now is to get Epic Universe at full throttle. So they are very focused on Epic Universe. And, for those that I know we've talked about, and some people in the comments have talked about some of the negatives about Epic Universe right now, which we've talked about, is very likely something you could expect from a brand new park. But it's not like Universal and Comcast forgot how to run theme parks. I mean, you look at Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, they know how to run theme parks. So I don't think Epic Universe is going to be an outlier in that. I think that they definitely are going to get this park running very efficiently. And if you look in the next year, 2 years, it's going to have a very significant impact for Universal Studios. And so I think that much is undoubtedly true. Now, how much this affects Disney, this past summer going into next year, that's something we'll have to wait and see till we look at the earnings reports from Disney and Comcast. But for now, we can look at these Orange County tax collections, which give us a very good indicator of what they will look like for Comcast and Universal, and give us an idea of how this park is performing, as we don't actually get attendance numbers. They will give us revenue numbers in earnings calls, but this does give us an idea here of what we can expect from those. And obviously here, it looks like it is very good, as they've had 3 straight months of record-breaking income when it comes to the tax collections. And I think going into the year, more than likely, that's not going to slow down. You could see potentially a fall off in September. September is kind of, especially the early part, kids go back to school, people aren't traveling as much. So but that is kind of a yearly thing as well. So I guess that'll depend on how that performed last year. But maybe outside of September, I definitely think October, November, December, you are going to continue to see these record-breaking numbers when you're talking about Orange County and Epic Universe's impact. And potentially as well, we'll have to wait until we see the earnings calls for both Universal and Disney, but it potentially could have had an impact on Disney on some level, as it seems like some many reports out there been talking about Disney's attendance this summer was not that great. And also, I would assume as well, it would be encouraging for Universal, given that ever since 2020, the summer is really not a super busy time of year for theme parks. A lot of people choose to visit theme parks at off-peak times, or I guess you would just call it off-peak times. Typically, historically, the summer has been a very busy time, but obviously it's no newsflash here that Florida is very hot in the summer. And so a lot of people are choosing to go during, the fall, the winter. January and February are not even as slow as they used to be even 5-10 years ago. So very likely, looking at this scenario, it is only going to continue to increase the amount of money it generates for Universal and for the county tax collections. And of course, we'll see what August tax collection numbers are, and then we'll find out, a full quarter of Epic Universe being on the books for Comcast and Universal, what that looks like for their earnings. We'll have that earnings call sometime in October. But for now, we do have this information, and we have Mark Woodbury giving some tidbits and some other things that he has talked about as well. So it definitely looks like Epic Universe is having quite the impact. Universal seems very happy about it, and we'll continue to see how this park performs going into the fall and the winter of this year, and of course, looking into next year, what it does also. But for now, that is going to be it, though, for this video. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about all this? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.